Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan. We are here today to talk about the Challenge All-Stars 5 Rivals, Episode 4. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts. We have the Southern Luke Muncie,
What's up, guys?
the Vermontian Zoe Trimboli.
Hi, everyone.
And last week's episode ended on all that Ashley and Nisa drama, their fight. And just like the week before, we didn't see the fight come into this week. We just kind of moved back into the episode, but we did, we got some Ashley info. We're just gonna jump straight into the episode.
She's got a boyfriend. It's hard to say, Allan. I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm such a mess. I took a bad drink of water a minute ago, and now I'm just discombobulated. The podcast is up and running. Yeah, Ashley's got a boyfriend. He's a Latin boyfriend. She's on the phone. She's telling him, if you use my fucking credit card while I'm not there, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna call the cops on you.
So she's been super fan. She's been dating him for a while. So I was actually shocked to see them still together. But her making that credit card comment was so her, but also, has he done that before? But it is kind of cool to see. Well, I don't know. I'm happy that she has a boyfriend, but she's still smashly with her boyfriend. It's crazy.
She's just like one of the funniest people on earth. Like if you put her and Gabby Wendy in the same room, I could just die and go to heaven. Listening to her like yell at him when he's trying to calm her down by saying I love you, like I don't care that you love me, like she's just reality TV gold. And like you can hate her and that's okay because she creates a strong reaction one way or the other. I love her. But she's absolutely unhinged.
Do you think part of her reaction the next morning was kind of an acknowledgement that, ooh, I probably overreacted?
Oh, she definitely knows she overreacted. I think the like residual frustration is still there because the underlying frustration is my partner sucks and I can't win. But she definitely felt bad, as she should.
Well, I would say Ashley's a polarizing character, but also so is Anissa. Last week, I took Anissa's side at the end of the episode, and people were like not happy with me for doing that, which like I used to feel like you can't win at times with some people, but
I almost jumped in there too, tweeting you back, but I decided not to.
No, I knew that. It's like, but look, I'm gonna make my opinions when I see them. Ashley's really polarizing. Nicole had a comment, a very dumb comment. Zoe, you want to talk about it?
She was talking about how when Ashley is mad, she is like a venomous snake who sinks their fangs into you until you're bleeding to death. And that's not how venom works. And that was all I could think of. I was like, okay, sure, venom. And then she just started talking about bleeding to death. And I was like, yeah, that's Nicole. Like 3 brain cells to rub together on a good day.
Nicole's an idiot. And also, Nicole is still bitter to this day that Ashley beat her in the invasion final. Because also Nicole is so dumb because she has said like she thought she won the final, even though she had multiple time penalties. Literally could not, like after that first portion with Corey, mathematically was basically eliminated from possibly winning and came in third. So it wasn't even like she was in second, she came in third. Nicole's bitter. She doesn't understand the game. She doesn't know that you need to actually be able to solve puzzles and do mental stuff to win. So that's why she gets to the end and just never wins.
Yeah, honestly, Nicole has done nothing this season to be interesting. Otherwise, I would be talking a lot more shit about Nicole than Anissa because I hate her way more. I think she's the worst ever.
Yeah, and for that, I'm thankful that we've seen very little of her. I hope that trend continues.
Yeah, I think it's their time to go soon, so.
Do you guys want to move into the daily challenge now?
Yeah.
So last week, we were jumping off the building, and it was a very similar challenge to a season 40 challenge. This week, we had another very similar to season 40 challenge where players were jumping off being swung off a semi truck trying to grab rings. except they did it in a partner format this time around where one teammate is pushing the other and trying to time it right.
Rinse and repeat, baby.
Yeah, I like the extra little piece because like there is some strategy, I guess, for when to swing, but we just finished 40 weeks ago. And it's like, ah, God. Like I was expecting Derek to be announced as the winner because he won on 40. And I shouldn't still remember that, but it's so fresh in our minds.
Yeah, and there were some very clear differences in like how certain teams were built for this challenge, like to succeed. I think it's very clear that for this specific challenge, it was very similar to the daily challenge from episode 2, where if you have a big guy and a woman that doesn't weigh that much, and if she's a bit tall and lanky, they're going to have a distinct advantage in this challenge.
Yep. Or the male pairs have like a decent shot at it if they play their cards right, like
Yeah, just having a reach advantage and a leaping advantage.
strength.
Do you want to go through it team by team or just want to talk about who did good and who did bad?
I think we could just give the highlights.
All right, so let's talk about who did bad first, because if we talk about who did good, we're just not even going to care about who did badly. Katie and Veronica.
Predictably.
Hilariously, they had two teams going at the same time, and then Katie and Veronica went by themselves and got 0 rings.
Yeah.
And that's such a disadvantage, though. I mean, I know that they were disadvantaged with their heights to begin with, but like having someone next to you being successful or not, like it adds a different dynamic. So I did kind of feel for them, but there was no chance they were winning. None.
Yeah. And they didn't care because that's not their path through this game is not winning daily. So they really don't care how they perform at all.
That said, it does have to hurt to not get any rings when every other team is getting multiple, like even the worst teams. Because you still have to go through the whole process of like failure for like, and you're just hanging up there for a repeated few minutes.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for sure.
The other team that got, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like they played it up for laughs and I laughed. Sam and Frank. Frank was the one pushing Sam, and her body was going in almost every different direction possible, and she still got 4 rings though. But I was, look, the way they played it up, I was still laughing just because she was just spinning everywhere and everywhere.
I don't really understand why Frank was pushing Sam.
Same.
I mean, Frank could have like pretty much jumped and done better than having to push Sam and send her like spinning in circles.
I'm even still trying to wrap my head around why he didn't do it, but I can't do it. Like, they probably still weren't going to win, but they could have performed better. And maybe he wants to still be seen as a layup team, but people aren't seeing them as a layup team because of him. So you might as well try. I don't know. I truly don't know.
I assume it's because Frank felt more confident about his ability to push Sam's weight than her ability to push his weight. Because it's not like were players like just jumping and leaping, or was it like them getting pushed?
I guess.
Yeah, because I feel like if these players were just be like, yeah, a team like Devin and Leroy and Adam and Steve, they'd be like, hey, don't even push me. I'm just gonna run and jump.
Yeah.
That would be the better scenario. But I think teams were forced to push their teammate like in a swing fashion. So I think on that basis, I think
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was so hard to watch.
Look, they played it for laughs. I thought it was funny just because she literally was swinging in directions that nobody else was.
Were they the ones that they played 1,000 Miles for by Vanessa Carlton?
I believe so, yeah.
That did add to the comedy of it because I was like, I remember the song came on and I did like the millennial head tilt, like what's like that part was hilarious.
Well, okay, I also want to say like they actually didn't do that badly considering they got 4, which isn't a lot, but in the comparison of like when they were going, Dario and Ashley were also going, and every time Dario and Ashley grabbed a ring, Ashley looked like a like Princess Peach just floating in air, grabbing the rings from almost behind, like she was so ahead of them. But they only got 7. So being only 3 off, I'm kind of disappointed in Dario and Ashley a bit. But
I keep forgetting they're there.
you're
Beautiful.
forgetting they're there. They're so pretty though. They're
They
just
are. They're beautiful, but
They are the same as they were the last time they were on the challenge.
I think it's worth mentioning Corey and Big T because he clearly disregarded the rules, and so has a fear of balance beams. Like, I hate to say it, and please correct me quickly. This is just came to my head, but Corey and Big T should be performing well on every single daily, and maybe not because like they have the height advantage, but they're young and they've been doing the show for the past few years. Like, they shouldn't be one of the bottom teams every single time.
I think they're both mediocre competitors at best
Yeah.
in terms of like athleticism. So even while they like may seem fit and do have certain strengths, I don't see them as like athletes.
True. I love Big T, but she's not an athlete. And Corey's a weightlifter. That's what I'll say.
He can show bursts of athleticism, but he is not an athlete.
he's athletic, he's not skilled. That's more the difference. Like he's a good runner, he's got some good cardio, like, but he can't, like you're talking about, like the stop and start running, like the hand-eye coordination type stuff. Like he's one of those people like he could run it, he could win a track race, but if you asked him to like catch a football while running, that's the difference.
Well, that's athleticism to me. Hand-eye coordination is a key component of athleticism, as far as I'm concerned. But I hear what you're saying.
I think Wes is not super. Wes is a good athlete in terms of like the skill stuff that you're talking about. Like he's good at like stopping, starting, like the soccer, like the juking type stuff. But if you ask like Wes to like run in a hall roll at someone, I mean, he's got his ass beat by Dario, Bear, all these people, and like physical headbangers in the last decade. So he doesn't have that type of like raw burst athleticism.
Yeah, he's not tough.
This is a different language to me.
So yeah, they struggled. Dario and Ashley didn't do that well either. And who's the other team? Steve and Adam did surprisingly poorly in this daily challenge.
Yeah.
I can't help but like Adam. What is it about him? Because normally I would find this behavior grating on my nerves, but I like Adam.
Adam is authentic. Adam is 100%
I think
himself.
And I think in his inconsistency in some of his behavior, it is authentic. Because sometimes I'm like when he was being vaguely like misogynistic towards Cara Maria, and when he was like really over the top reacting to Steve just like returning the favor on All Stars 4, and then like he can't like be scary or be intimidating or be frustrated or ever be the guy that's mad. But it's like we watched you in your confessionals stick up your middle finger and say sit and spin, bitch. Like you have it in you.
Okay, that's true. Maybe Avery has just grounded him.
No, he's still he flips the switch and something turns on in him. And like when there's like multiple, like he's authentic, but he switches up. And whatever, like however he's feeling that in the moment, you're gonna see it.
We need to find out what his zodiac sign is. Maybe that will explain some things.
Keep talking.
I like Adam. I like Steve. I like, you know what? And I also like seeing them fail because they've been crushing it this entire time. So to see them like struggle a little bit, you know, gets a little bit exciting. Trying to think if anyone else did notable. Shane and Devon went pretty early on, and they actually did pretty well. They grabbed 8 rings. Sleeper pair. I mean, they keep doing like slightly above average in these daily challenges, and you know, these bigger targets exist, and maybe if people take shots at them, Shane Devon could do well, like we've been saying the past few weeks.
So Adam's a Capricorn, which means nothing to me.
Me too. Anything about them? Sorry to all you Capricorns out there.
Yeah, for Shane and Devon, though, sleeper team for sure. I am shocked at how little content we're getting from them because I feel like it's none. I mean, I rewatched the episode and I was kind of just looking for Devon, and there were a couple faces here and there, but like no strong confessionals, no drama, which could be key to their game. But me as a viewer, I really want it.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere on Nani's social media that someone asked her like who she was hanging out with during All Stars 5, and she's like, me and Devon were just I love her, we were roommates, and we basically just stayed out of all the bullshit. So
I was gonna say Shane is also kind of on his like rehab tour too as well, because he was not on the show for a long time. Almost a good choice by production, and he's come back to the show, and he's probably going to be on his best behavior for a bit, and then once he's settled in, he can finally be Shane. But he's definitely not trying to piss people off immediately.
Yeah.
It's
we'll
not
talk
like,
about this later, but it does look like next week maybe he does get back into it a little bit. So
yeah. And it's not like a Frank situation where Frank was telling them no for a decade. And now he's back. And so he can be full Frank. Shane, it's a different situation, and like his relationship with production. Talking about people's relationship with production that, isn't always the best. We got, and then someone who is, Ashley and Anissa went, and they really struggled in this daily challenge, which I thought this was a challenge that they should have done well in, because you look at Ashley's body, she's like decently tall, but also lanky. So she's got a good reach. She's got long legs. This is a challenge where, with their team strengths, it's one they could actually maybe win.
Ashley's the only reason they got any rings in this daily challenge, because of her creativity to catch the rings with her feet, because Anissa couldn't do it.
And I watched back the daily challenge. Something that was very crucial was that when Anissa was pushing Ashley, she was just pushing her from left to right. She wasn't walking into the push to get more strength. I mean, if you've ever been pushed on a swing before by your parent or friend,
Your teacher.
you want them to really put some energy, put some momentum into you so you can go as high as you can. And Anissa was not doing that.
But y'all, her biggest fear is moving vehicles and cargo nets and heights and cardio and distances more than 800 meters.
True.
These two are a match made in hell. It's just so frustrating to watch as a fan of Ashley, though, to be like, just, she wants to compete, she wants to show what she's capable of, and especially after all this time, and Anissa just can't even give a full effort.
And as a fan of Ashley, who, listen, has her faults of her own, I even think that some parts of this daily Ashley maybe could have not given up so soon, but they're already losing. I don't know. But if Anissa were trying her hardest with Ashley, I would take it. But she's not. If Anissa said, hey, Ashley, like, can I ride the bike next to you while you ride on the treadmill? Oh my God, great. Team bonding. You're doing some cardio. But I just can't get behind it. And I don't have to for much longer.
Well, it then came down to two teams for the win, Devin and Leroy, who went first. And they did really well. I mean, they got 11 to start off. Once again, it's like these two male teams, I'm just never going to be super impressed by anything they do. But, I mean, they were working well together.
As they should.
Yeah.
And then Fessy and Amber killed it again, with Fessy playing the role of being the strong male and Amber playing the role of athletic, decently lanky female.
She was going like past the ring and catching it on the way back. Like, it would have been like supremely pathetic if they didn't win, honestly.
It's going to be a little pathetic if they don't win this whole season, I think. Maybe not pathetic, that's not the right word, but like, they are young for the show, in great shape. Like, I'm not going to complain because it's a male-female team, but like I see them dominating a lot of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'll complain not about them, but about production in that this just feels like redundant in that we've seen basically the same challenge twice in different ways now in these 4 daily challenges. And I just want to see something different. I want to see more fun and wacky stuff, honestly, not just also because it's All Stars. I think if you could have fun and wacky daily challenges where anyone could win, especially because this format, the way it exists, there's no punishment for last place anyway. So let's have fun with the daily challenges, and then eliminations could be serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This has not been the best episode. I'm not talking about our podcast, just the episode in general.
We're talking about a podcast too. I don't know.
Episode 4 of All Stars 5. It's been the low point of these 4 episodes. It's just, but we're gonna keep talking.
I think this brings us to our next low point, though. And Zoe said this last week. Zoe, who was completely spoiler-free, said, I don't want to start seeing a habit of we get drama in the episode, it's resolved, and then they go. And we get back, and we get to see Anissa and Ashley. I mean, it might have happened before the daily, but regardless, we see them have resolution. And it is much different. Ashley didn't do well. Ashley kind of apologized, but Anissa did take the brunt of this apology.
It was honestly hard for me to stomach watching Anissa like apologize and cry again for something she didn't need to be sorry for. I say this as like I should like have a shirt like telling people what an Anissa hater I am. Like I'm the supreme Anissa hater of all Anissa haters. And like I was like, this is silly. You have nothing to be sorry for.
Yeah, I thought a quick acknowledgement of like, I didn't realize that would bother you. I'll do better next time. And not even an apology, like just now I know the information, let's go. I did think it was nice to hear Ashley acknowledge that it's because she feels insecure because she doesn't have friends in the game. And again, as an Ashley lover, that's been what all her confessionals have been about, that like she hates that Anissa has friends and this isn't a friendship game. And then she says, this is a game about making friends and alliances. And someone commented under one of your tweets last week, Allan, that's how Ashley's won a season before. So I think I'm being so biased for now. I think Ashley's just off her game completely because she doesn't see a chance to win. And that whole meltdown last week, we can all agree, was Ashley being upset about something totally different and not Anissa saying a redneck voice like my partner.
I mostly zoned out during the apology. And it's not. It felt like an apology of cordiality versus like the moment we had last week between Kellyanne and Sylvia, where Kellyanne and Sylvia like really broke bread and they bonded and they like accepted each other. And Anissa and Ashley just felt like they were just trying to get through the rest of this game together. And that was the difference in the scenes.
I think Anissa was sincere in her apology. I just don't think she had anything to apologize for. And I think Ashley, is just basically waiting for their demise at this point.
Well, and I don't think Anissa should have apologized either. Hear me when I say this, but I think it does speak to a deeper insecurity that Ashley has because, 11 years ago on Real World, this same conversation made her upset. And now it does again. And I get people playing to like things about themselves to like lead themselves into the joke. But at this point in her life, she really shouldn't care too much because she embraces it.
Yeah, that part.
I believe Anissa's apology is also genuine as well, but I also think there's stuff that Anissa is probably saying about Ashley that's just never seen on camera that's much, much worse anyway, and not even like a redneck thing, just like a person thing. And that's why I just don't really care about the apology.
I think you're right about that.
Want to talk about the House vote and the politics?
Yeah, so Katie and Veronica, mostly Katie throughout this episode, really tries to guide Adam on how to navigate this gameplay because she says if you're going to keep being nice every single time you get thrown in, you're going to be the easiest vote to go in. Maybe show some aggression. He can't. But she does say, like, maybe try to get a star holder in. Like, let's shake some things up. A lot of people have confessionals saying this game is stagnant at this point with the star holders. So Adam and Steve went to Fessy and Amber, who had won the power, and said, if you give us Devin and Leroy, we'll give you the star back. And I thought that was a smart play on their end.
I think it was like a great deal for Fessy and Amber. I don't know why they didn't take it, honestly.
It's the smartest possible pitch you can do. At the very least, one of the biggest like opponents they could have for the final is out of the game. And also, if you're Fessy and Amber, you protect all these little layups for when you potentially have to go into elimination, even if Devin and Leroy win and don't give you the star.
We had said on episode 2 that it might be too early to make this move. And I know it's just episode 4. It's not too early because even Fessy acknowledged Leroy has 2 other teams in front of me. There's not that many teams to begin with. So why not get in good with Adam and Steve, which then puts you in good with Veronica and Katie? 2 teams that you could maybe, well, one team you could definitely beat in the final, another that you have a good chance. I just think this speaks to why Fessy's never won. He just pulls the trigger at the wrong times.
Yeah, it just seemed like stupid.
I'm not even I'm mad at Fessy, but I'm more mad at Amber too, because Amber keeps cutting these confessionals that it's like, okay, it's like 2 weeks ago. Oh, Nicole is shady. Nicole's aligned with Adam and Steve, so I should put them in. No, I shouldn't because Melissa is a mother too. This week, oh, it's time for us to make a big move. It's time for us to make a big move. Doesn't make the big move, and I'm just like, I'm tired of these confessionals about your theoretical game and just play the actual game that you're talking about.
How many teams are left at this point? To like,
I think at this point there's 11.
And 4 are making the final, theoretically. Like, we'll assume 4 are making the final.
Yeah, and after this elimination, they're safe from. There will be 10. So.
And like Fessy and Amber, now you've eliminated all these teams that are just easy wins for you to go ahead and get your star from, or get your star in an elimination at this point. Who do you want to go against in elimination for this star?
Adam and Steve, I guess, because that's Adam and Steve are going to be in elimination every single week. I mean, I think Adam and Steve, I mean, people are trying to coach them up on how to play politics. Like, oh, you guys aren't playing the game right. It's like, well, no, they got voted in the first time. They're going to get voted in every single week from here on out. There is no game they can play, which is why they volunteer. We got a real riveting season here, man. I mean, it's funny because there's so many dramatic personalities, but production has made a game that is so basic and has led to no drama now. Like, because there should be more drama going on here.
I've still heard good things about the rest of the season, so I'm gonna like keep holding my breath. And even though this episode is a little dry, I won't deny that at all. It's still, I liked the way that it was paced. I like that we still got a party scene I know we're about to talk about. I'm not going to give up, and I'm not saying you are, but I'm personally not going to give up right now. But you're right. This episode is like, okay, if it's going to be Adam and Steve every single week, we could probably cut out 20 minutes of this episode.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, Luca, though. I think the pacing of the episode was really good. And I think when this is the situation you're working with at this point, that production is doing the best they can. And I'm optimistic that next week it looks like things are going to be shaken up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up. I've enjoyed this season. I know it could be so much better right now. And that's what's frustrating about it, because like you have these really dramatic personalities who could really, butt heads with one another. And if there was star stealing from the elimination winner, I mean, people would be playing this game in a much different way.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the party scene, Luke?
Yeah, so they had an 80s themed party. Veronica said most of these people weren't even born in the 80s. They were. Because that's not that, like, if they're in their 30, well, I guess not. It's 2025. I don't know. But they have an 80s themed party. I do hate that not everybody participated, but I also understand, like, if you're in the house and you're not wanting to go drink and have party, like whatever. But I do like All Stars 1. One of my favorite moments is when all those OGs had that big party and they were all just active. But it was still a cute moment. I'd still prefer to see them at a bar maybe, but I don't want to take away the hookup. I want somebody else to be able to have that.
That's on Zoe.
Oh. I actually walked out of the room during this part, I'm not gonna lie.
So,
Coincidentally, I didn't know what was happening. I'm not that much of a hater. I was listening to it but not watching it.
so I think the talk last week about like just like embracing who you are, like whatever, like really bonded Anissa and Sam. And there was some dancing, they were feeling each other. We get a very quick pan to them in bed moaning so loud that Frank had to leave the room, and Anissa apologizes, and Sam says that her and niece hooked up. Shared a spicy night is what Anissa said.
Book them for Exes 3.
They deserve each other. On Exes 3, yeah. That's what I mean.
That would be so bad.
That would be actually karmic for this season.
Yeah, the party was cute.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to maybe this episode being a little lackluster. We could have gotten more, like maybe make production put a game in there that we could maybe watch them do and maybe make it be messy. I don't
The
know.
party felt like almost like a blink, and I missed it type party. It was a fun. It was more fun just seeing the trailers than I felt like it was in the episode.
My favorite part was really seeing Nani and Leroy together in their 80s outfits dancing together. Like as frustrated as I can get sometimes with like one of them, both of them, neither of them, because I do love them at my core. I love these moments where like they are just still friends and they are these people who have just always had each other's backs.
I agree, Luke. It was very cute. I'm always going to be a team Nani and Leroy guy.
For better or worse. Mostly worse.
Obviously, often worse.
I feel that.
Yeah. From the house party, we get to the arena. Are they gonna put in Devin and Leroy like we talked about? Nope. And not only that, they put in Ashley and Anissa. It's like a vote that really doesn't make sense on so many levels because one, Ashley and Anissa are a team that you'd probably want to face in elimination later on if you're Fessy and Amber. Two, Anissa has some loyalty to Fessy and Amber, at least more than other teams. Three, a lot of people don't really, I guess the move is, a lot of people don't really care if Ashley or Anissa is missing from the house. Like, I know Anissa has a lot of friends, but if Anissa's gone, nobody cares. It's like an Irish goodbye that nobody notices. And Ashley has, not a ton of friends, as she said before. So it's just a move that doesn't make sense.
I was shocked because, Fessy was the person who went outside to console Ashley last week. Him and Anissa have had their tumultuous moments before, but like they're in the vacation alliance. I mean, I guess the one positive of this is that like that alliance that we knew for 3 seasons to just dominate the game is absolutely no more. But even Amber B, like she has been friends with Ashley on the seasons that they've done. We've seen them conversing, strategizing together. But you're right, it's an easy vote.
It's lazy and weird and stupid. And it continues the pattern of team fights, they make up, then go home.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
Oh yeah, it just,
I already said it earlier. It's my bad.
It's just so frustrating. I mean, if you're gonna go off the board with the vote we didn't expect, maybe let's go for one of the star holder teams that nobody's talking about. Throw in Dario and Ashley as like because they have a star right there, and like they wouldn't be expecting it.
I think Amber and Ashley are having their like mom powwow too much at this point, which good for them. But it's times like this that I've said it, we've all said it. These people have to play their game for themselves. Like they're there to make money, not to entertain us. But you also are there to entertain us to a large aspect. If you know that these teams, I'm talking about Sylvie and Kellyanne too, Ashley and Lisa, have these combative personalities and are fighting, and you feel like you could maybe beat them later on, why would you not want to keep them in the house, at least for good television? It'd be one thing if they're a threat to take them out in the final, like get them out. But like not only could you make the show that you're going to be on that airs later possibly get more views.
You're talking about two of the most boring people on the cast thinking about making good TV.
That's true.
Like, Fessy and Amber have not had a single thought about how to make good TV.
My favorite Amber B moment was on Spies, Lies, and Allies when they were losing an elimination, and she looked at Jeremiah, who she'd known for a week, and said, "Kiss me." Like, that's what stands out for me. And that's got to tell you, the bar's in hell.
Let me tell you, they were winning at that point.
Well, let me tell you, they lost after.
No, yeah, because Bettina is one of the greatest challengers ever, and she told Corey to shut the fuck up and like let's fucking run, let's win this elimination, which she actually did. That's not even me being hyperbolic. That's what happened.
Yeah.
The first
And
three hyperbolic, but
I have to think too, and this is a slight spoiler for casting for 41, but Fessy's not on it. And I'm like, I really felt like that would be a good casting choice. Anytime Fessy has brought an entertaining moment to the show, it's been through like drama that came from a hookup or with Josh. Other than that, I can't really think of like, I mean, maybe him and Nelson after that hall brawl, but like I don't know if he's as strong as a cast member as I like to give him credit in my head.
he is a strong competitor.
Yes.
He is not a strong cast member, especially if he's not gonna like follow all the pretty girls around the house. All the women he's hooked up with have made him more interesting. He is not interesting.
I agree. And so we complain about how confessionals and how they have to wear the same outfit every time now. It's frustrating, but it does make me laugh that Fessy, who had this haircut that I've never seen him have in any season before, first confessional, and now he has to commit to it for the whole season, where it's like it's like the 2008 like emo goth skater haircut just down to his head. It makes me laugh every time because you could see he definitely regrets making that his haircut for the season.
Yeah, it's not a good look. For a very, very good looking man.
Yeah, no, it's just, but you commit to that look, you got to be in it the whole season. I mean, Kylan's been wearing that purple shirt for 3 years.
Even podcast, Allan made him put it on, so.
Was he wearing it in it?
So it's funny, he was wearing it when we did our podcast last year, and then when he did it this year, he came on the podcast with it on, and I was like, you can't be serious right now. And he went and changed.
Aww. Why is that actually a little endearing? Okay.
Yeah.
So the elimination. It was Anissa and Ashley, Adam and Steve, and there were two like tubs underneath these graded platforms, and one member of each team stood beneath with a star shield while someone from the opposing team was above them, spraying them with water, trying to fill that tub or that container to a certain length. First, they would alternate rounds. Just 3 rounds?
Just 3 rounds. Whoever had the most wins.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is definitely an equalized elimination.
Yeah, and I will say this. They definitely lost because of Ashley.
Yeah.
I think, one, Ashley didn't care. Also, I think while Ashley is a very good competitor, has many strengths, I don't find her intimidating in most eliminations at all. I think that's her biggest flaw in her game by far. And she decided not to put her goggles on when it was her turn. So she just couldn't, she was hopeless when it was her turn to use the shield.
Yeah. And this isn't me being biased because I know you're going to be like, oh God. I think they still would have lost. Because I think the strategy of like, however Adam and Steve were doing the hose was very intelligent. But I had to think, Ashley, why do you think production gave you these goggles? And if you couldn't get them on right, like just say, I'm not ready yet. You know, they would have stopped and gave you 15 more seconds to put the goggles on.
Yeah. I also think height is an advantage in this challenge a little bit when you're the person in the tank. The closer I think you can get to the hose, the easier it is to block it. But regardless, like you said, these two were not winning, even if Ashley did not completely shit the bed and take off her goggles for Lord knows what reason, unless it was just because she wanted to fly back home and make sure her boyfriend wasn't using her credit card. Like,
yeah.
I thought the men had actually a big advantage, not just in terms of height, but just also like weight of just like having a stronger base in terms of like how much you could lift up and hold back the pressure coming at you. And I thought Ashley and her frame specifically was kind of like not the best for having just have water just shot her and having to press against it.
I think Ashley gives up easily if she's not in the final. I don't think she's going to give up easily in a final because the only final she's lost, like she was trying to still swim up to that boat. But, and I'm not giving her an out because I wish she wouldn't do this. But I guess the writing is kind of on the wall if your partner's Anissa. Like, and if they were to have come back and Steve and Adam went home, they'd get thrown in the next round. I don't know. I would love for her to be a better underdog, but
part of me is like judging her a little and thinking she should have tried harder and not have just thrown in the towel. And the other part of me is like, they weren't winning and she was clearly miserable. So
elimination are also just a different element too, because there are players like Anissa, her record's 50-50, but like Anissa thrives more in eliminations than she does daily challenges, because there's an element of when you're in there, it's like a glass half full type of thing of I only got to beat one person. So we've seen people like her, Nelson, Derek really turn on these eliminations because they just got to beat this one person. And Ashley, when she gets in that arena, it's half empty. Look at elimination of, oh, I'm already almost halfway out the game. Oh, this person's ahead of me. Oh, I'm gonna lose. Put her in a final though, like Luke said, and she can see the path to victory. But in elimination, it's almost like she's already got a foot out the door.
Yeah. Unless it's something she's gonna kill. Like I think of like the elimination against Nany in War of the Worlds too, right? Like she knew that was hers to lose.
Yeah. And I think about her elimination with Priscilla, like her experience just from being on the show helped her there. And people freaked out and were happy because she never wins eliminations. Like,
well, the crowd also was on her side at that point in the elimination too and started helping her as well. And that very much like uplifted her spirit in terms of the way she was competing.
My hope is that she's done her recovery season as production has allowed many men do. And that maybe she'll be back for 41 and not partner with Anissa.
Let's run it back. Let's run these two as partners again. Let's do it again. 41, Rivals 3, Rivals 4.
If they ever put these two together again, I'm not covering that season.
Yeah, a waste.
I'm happy to see them go. Not Ashley, but as a pair, I'm just tired of talking about Anissa. I've talked about Anissa so much in these last few years of my life, and I wish I could have that time back.
Yeah, maybe she won't be on 41.
But then what has she been training for?
Life, a healthier life.
Can't be done.
Better walking upstairs and downstairs to her apartment.
We gotta stop.
Scenes from next week look a little juicy. Looks like they're playing one of those games, a trivia type game where you have to match your partner, but you're answering questions about fellow people in the house. And I think that always sparks just some hidden animosity, some new animosity. I'm excited.
Is it Rivals 2 they did something like this? Right? Because that was like people were calling Cara Maria stuff.
That was the one where John A called Jemmy fake and stuff like that, and there was a whole bunch of. It was a good daily challenge. Whenever they do stuff like that, it's fun.
Yeah, I love it. And Frank was also talking about like I can't be working with these powerhouse teams anymore. I gotta switch and work with the other terrible teams, which like duh. But it's about time, and I'm guessing maybe that's because this sort of challenge is an equalizer and anyone can win. So I'm curious to see who wins this week and if we're going to see any power moves.
Yeah.
Forgot to note as well that Adam and Steve won the elimination. Adam and Steve now with their third elimination win of the season. It's funny because if they could switch stars around, they could theoretically have all three teams they wanted with stars around them. So they could be running the final with Veronica and Katie, Nicole and Melissa, and Corey and Big T, and have a clear path to victory. But because of this format where they can't switch other stars like that, they're just going to be in every week like that, protecting their stars.
Yeah, bummer. We need something to switch it up.
Well, hopefully next week the drama comes, and we can have a much more exciting episode to talk about. Everyone, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get the podcast. Hopefully, we might have an interview with Kellyanne coming out soon. There's an interview that we just dropped with Kylan that we recorded over a month ago that dropped this week on the channel. So go watch that if you want. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hopefully, there's going to be more good stuff coming from this channel.